Cool.
All right, everybody, welcome to episode 9 of Living, Overcoming, Becoming. We are slowly making our way through the season. I am very happy because I got to tug on another woman of God that I absolutely adore. I don't even know if she knows this, but let me tell you about Miss Ellis here. Okay. This is Kiyonna Ellis. She is the founder and visionary of her very own podcast. It's Strong Talks with Kiyonna. I will definitely be dropping the link in the bio and the description for this episode. When I say she drops in on our church and the way that she be leaving the room, it's like she come and drop a bomb and then just leave like nothing happened. And when I say not only is this woman a talker, but she has a singing ministry out of this world because I can't not cry when I hear this woman sing, okay?
Look, to God be the glory.
Listen, and she actually talked about this on one of her podcast episodes, and she was like, some people don't have that ministry, and I don't know what it is about my ministry because sis got that ministry. I don't know what kind of ministry she thinks she got, but I'm like, that singing thing is all her. But please, lady, just introduce yourself a little bit more and let the audience know who you are.
Okay, so I'm Kiyonna. I told sis earlier, I was like, I'm not even really into titles. She's like, what should I address you? I'm a child of God, a redeemed. Look, still becoming.
Yes. Yes.
So I am by profession, I'm a nurse practitioner. In church, wear several hats. Work in evangelism, altar work. I'm a socialite, meaning that I don't, I feel like I'm very laid back, introverted, but around certain people, I feel like I can release the whole introvert thing. And for some reason, the Holy Ghost must take over because when I grab the mic, he just takes over because my nerves are so bad.
And the crazy thing is, you describe yourself as an introvert. When I watch you like bounce around, like just talking, maybe it's because you're also very comfortable in our church because you know a lot of the members and everything already, but you don't see that. And I'm like, I like her. I don't know what it is. I just like her a lot. So of course that's why I had to tug on you. And that's why I'm like, I'm happy because the people I've been asking been coming. I'm like, they must like me too a little bit. So.
Period. Poo.
But this episode is very, very important. We're coming to the end of the season, and this episode is still becoming faith in progress for a reason. Just because we're rebuilding our faith from the ground up doesn't mean we don't see challenges, doesn't mean we still don't question ourselves, still doesn't mean that we don't question God and his plan for us. And the theme of this episode is not only are we still becoming, but we're letting go of the perfectionism and we're embracing the process publicly and privately. And what I do love about Sister Kiyonna is that just like she just described herself, you wouldn't see that on the outside, but she feels it on the inside. And I know that she is a very transparent talker to where us talking about this like certain situation still becoming, even if we have like that finish line mindset or if we feel like we have capped out or we don't know what's next. I really just wanted to pick her brain because this podcast is not just for y'all. I am processing a lot of this stuff in real time. I don't know if they know that. I don't know if you know that, Kiyonna, but
I did, but listen, it's real.
so sometimes these episodes I'm talking to people on the sense of I need to know what y'all think to give me hope because she is a mother. She like she says she works, she does her own business. Like she on the outside looks like she's holding it all together. So sis, I need to know.
Oh, girl. Sit down while I grab your tea. Let me tell you a story.
So the
Listen.
way that I want to start this is I usually go through 3 segments in my
Mm.
episodes. And I usually try to round it out. So the way that I want to start with you is first I need to know, what is a finish line mindset to you?
Wow. So, in my opinion, a finish line mindset is that I have tunnel vision, meaning that I have a goal that I'm trying to reach, and I have an understanding that it takes process to get to that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And One of the main things that I preach, drill into everyone on my podcast, Strong Talk, is, the scripture, race isn't given to the swift, neither to the strong, but the one that endures to the end. And it's kind of like, it's crazy, right? Because it's like you're called Strong Talk. Well, sometimes you got to have a strong conversation about things that you may not want to hear, but it's going to help you to endure. It's going to help you to go through so that you can get to that finish line. And it's not going to be pretty. And people oftentimes think that when I get saved, that everything is perfect when I get saved. And I remember the old mothers in the church used to say, his yoke is easy. And I would say for years, I haven't found it to be yet.
What kind of
But
yoke
I
he
got
got?
a
Because I need it.
listen, but I got a revelation as I became older. I realized it's easy because you're on the winning side. It's almost like an insurance policy. Your insurance policy with Christ on Christ's side is secure. You're going to win. But when you try to put your insurance policy on the enemy side, there's no guarantees. So it gives you a new level of faith. It gives you a new zeal that, okay, I know I'm not going to be perfect. God knew I wasn't going to be perfect. That's why he came. So I can let go of that. I can let go of the fact that I'm not going to always get it right. But the scripture says you got to endure. And one of the things that we are missing in our generation is that endurance for several reasons. That's for a whole nother episode. But we don't want to go through anything. We don't. It doesn't feel good. Okay, I'm in the medical field. We don't want to go through pain.
Right.
Pain doesn't feel good instantly. I need opioid. I need some type of painkiller, Tylenol, Motrin, something. But we don't ever think about it from the standpoint of, if this pain did not happen, I wouldn't even know to even acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes we mess up because we don't view our pain in the right way. But you may not view it in the correct way. You view it in the natural way as a person. Nobody wants to hurt and go through pain.
Mm-hmm.
But I would present to today on this podcast, tonight on this podcast, that let's change our lens on how we go through and how we look at pain.
Yeah.
Because maybe that pain drew us to our knees.
And then the crazy thing is, like, you're in the medical field, so you just said
Mhm.
that, like, pain is, it's
Yeah.
there for a reason, and sometimes pain is necessary. Like, people with fevers don't realize that your body is heating up to kill off infection. People don't know that when you break a bone and it's throbbing and it's hurting and you get casted up, that the pain means that it's resetting, or
Hmm.
it's coming back together. So it's just like some instances of pain are necessary because
Yeah.
that means that there's growth or there's renewal. Like, you know what I'm saying?
How about it brings
And
awareness?
exactly.
Pain
Like,
sometimes wakes you up to bring you awareness that is something that needs to be dealt with.
something is wrong. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
we
what
can
is
go through this
there?
life with
Yeah.
rose-colored glasses, like, oh, Philly D, everything's perfect. Like we do in relationships.
Hmm.
Oh, everything's great. He's paying me attention. Oh my gosh, he loves me. Although you know daggone well you're not getting anything that you deserve.
Anything. You just
Anything,
taking the
but
crumbs.
you just kind of crumb in it. You're going with it. You don't rock the boat, I won't rock the boat.
Mm,
But it's not until that heartbreak happens that you wake up and say, oh my God. And it hurts at first. But then as
mm-hmm.
time goes on, and some people's testimony is, oh my God, if they wouldn't have hurt me, I would have stayed in dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
If they wouldn't have broke my heart, I never would have had an open door to somebody who would treat me correctly. Because we have tunnel vision to the bad. As a people, we automatically go to worst case scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Even so, my background is medical, right? Nursing. ER is where I started. And it's like embedded in me, even when I deal with my patients today, is what is the worst case scenario? I want to make sure that I save a person from the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that can kind of jack you up in life because you're always thinking it's going to be the worst case scenario instead of, how about other side of the coin? Maybe this could be a good thing. Maybe, getting put out of your house is a good thing because you were comfortable in that house. And you had to be put out because you would have remained complacent. You wouldn't have taken the time to be able to get your credit together. You know how we pray, God, do it for me, Lord. But we have an expectation of how it's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us have to literally be put into a state, like he has to literally pick us up. This is my favorite pen. Pick us up and put us here to
Yep.
make us. And it does not look like that at the moment. But when you think about it, oh my God, I got put out, but I don't have that overhead. I'm not paying that $5,000 a month that I couldn't afford anyway, but I was doing it trying to survive. Now I don't have to do that. But on the flip side, I don't have to worry about that. So now I can save that money and put it towards owning instead of renting. We got it all jacked up, don't we?
And I was about to say that's been one of the themes throughout this whole season is like even from like the beginning of I am a new creation, even though I don't feel like it. It
Mm,
was like even though you might not think you're doing well, it's like the mindset change between everything
yeah.
after your yes is what makes up for the foundation. You know what I'm saying? So just like you said, even though all of this bad is happening, how is it working for my good? Like, how am I going to take this situation and see the good in it, especially if I'm trusting God in everything that He
Yes.
does? And I know right now in this part of my journey, the whole reason why I asked, like, what's your finish line mindset sound like, what's your idea of it is because I started facing that wall of why am I not further along than where I
Mm-hmm.
am? Like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And it's just like I have that tunnel vision. And then like even what you talk about with pain, see, now you got other people in the ministry that's like me where I have a high pain tolerance. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll take and take and take and I know I'm
Mm-hmm.
hurting. I know I'm
But
like
I'm just taking it.
but I'm gonna just take it. Like, you know, like I have
Mm-hmm.
had some very painful physical, spiritual, emotional times in my life where
Yeah.
it has made me endure pain differently. So by the
Mm-hmm.
time I'm saying I'm hurting, I'm basically dying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, by the time I actually say ouch or I cry or I'm like, I need something, I'm basically darn near in the grave. And I had to learn with my mindset change. Like, when I see it or when I feel it at first, I need to address it
Mm-hmm.
because just like I feel like I don't mean to call y'all out, but I feel like when y'all get sick or when y'all get hurt, y'all will wait until y'all literally in the deathbed to say something. When if we would have caught that cough, it would have been so much easier to deal with than now you got pneumonia, you're hooked up to IVs and everything else.
I
Like
feel
I'm not
like you
gonna
were like
say
you've been listening in on my triage calls. We typically get this from men
mm-hmm.
because the fear of the unknown will keep you tolerating pain, keep you
Mm-hmm.
ignoring what is present.
Yep.
Psychologically, that filters over to the psych realm, like you said, and you had to kind of realize, like, whoa, maybe me showing up and proving that I'm strong is pride
Yep.
because I don't want to face, maybe it's fear. I don't want to face the possibility of failure. And how about this? I don't want to face the possibility of success.
And I don't know what it is, and it's not just in black and brown culture amongst all like sexes, but
Hmm.
for some reason it's like that toxic masculinity realm too. And to
Yeah.
be honest, women act like they can't have that, but I have that.
Oh, if
You
you
know
were
what I
raised by a
mean?
strong woman, a strong
Not only a
African
strong
American.
woman, but my dad and like rest in peace to my grandfather who just passed, like they like I'm one of the oldest like granddaughters on my dad's side. And then I'm my dad's first child. So it was like for a very long time they raised me like one of the boys. So it's just like it was always when you get hurt, suck it up, rub some dirt on it, you'll be all
Hmm.
right. You're not
Hmm.
dying.
Shake it
Like, did you
off.
die? Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like I don't know why they make it seem like that toxic masculinity is just a male trait, but
Hmm.
any only girl or first girl or girl in the sea of
Hmm.
boys knows that they kind of taught us that way as well. So it's just
Yeah.
like
Single
it's not
mom,
just like
no
the
choice.
yeah, exactly. Like and
Hmm.
it's just like it spans beyond just like who can carry that trait, but like
Hmm.
where it comes from.
Hmm.
And I was talking about this in one of my previous episodes as well, is like we don't realize what we're picking up from the people that
Yes.
raise us. So
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, we don't want to look weak and we're not
Hmm.
allowed to say what ails us and how our brain is working because we're in fear of being judged or
Yeah.
being, you know, categorized. And it's just like as a community, a black community, black and brown
Hmm.
both, it's just
Right.
like we got to get out of that mindset because it's just like if we really want to heal, if we
Mm-hmm.
really want to move forward, it's these things we got to address
You got
because
to.
obviously me going around in this loop of I don't want to
Divorce.
say nothing. I think I'm gonna just take this pain and I'm gonna just focus. That's not working for me. That was not working for me.
Yeah.
But like that finish line mindset, it
Mm-hmm.
can be toxic because
Yeah.
now that I'm so focused on
Mm-hmm.
what I'm getting at the end, the second I get tripped up,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the heck? Like I was
Dealt
just
with that early on. I came up in the apostolic church,
hmm
and it was always this perfectionism thing.
yeah.
You had to be right. You had to be perfect. And I felt that if I was not perfect and if I fell, then I had to start all over again. And I was the child that always got all the good grades. I was the child that always, did everything I was supposed to do. I was the oldest child too. So I was like the token child. And it gave me a complex of always wanting to be perfect and never wanting to let my family down. And I got a complex for that because I didn't know how to deal when I really did fall. And it gave me a fall. So, if you fall too bad, some people fall to a place where they're done. They never
hmm
come back. And again, rooted in pride, but that perfectionism end up being a crutch. And it wasn't until, years later, how the Bible talks about one plants, one to water, someone gets the increase, another gets the increase. And that's why it's important to know your word. But
Yeah.
I realized that later on that I was told, well, God died for you. And he knew that you weren't going to be perfect. Should we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. But again, like you said, finish line, just endure. And when you're on God's side, when you get to the end of the thing, you're already a winner. Imperfect, but a winner.
Right. And then it's like the growth of it all. So I had what did I have? Philippians 1 and 6 up. And it says, being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you
Good
will
works.
complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. So I'm still learning my word. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I chose this journey of reading cover to cover, trying to get all the context I can get because I was like, unfortunately, like the way I came up, I was like, I only kind of went to church like for holidays
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and when my grandmama dragged me. So where you say you're like the oldest child, I am
Mhm.
too. So
Yeah.
for a long time I had to live up to that perfectionist kind of
Mm-hmm.
realm.
Mm-hmm.
And both of my parents, they worked a lot, so they didn't really come and do church and stuff. But then when my brother Ty and my baby sister started going with my grandparents, then all of a sudden my mom fell in. But at that time I'm old, so I'm just like I'm like in high school and I'm like I'm not going with y'all. Like I got sports to do. I got stuff to do. I'm going out with my friends. Like, I'm not going. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I kind of fell short of that with
Mm-hmm.
my mom for a while. And then my
Mm-hmm.
brother became the token. My brother became, because I was going through like a lot, like with my depression, like
Mm-hmm.
doing certain things, like especially when I went to college, to
Yeah,
where
yeah.
my brother, he started thriving in the church.
Wow.
Like he was ordained at 15, like he was
Wow.
doing all of the things. Tatiana kind of fell behind because they was going to
Mm-hmm.
church, and that's how we got introduced to Bishop Costin's church.
Yeah.
And then they all became that big conglomerate of churches. And then it was just like by the time that they had started doing all of that, I'm like, I'm not doing all of that. Like, you know what I mean? So I guess like the perfectionist falling part happened then.
Mm-hmm.
And watching my brother, it created something in me. I didn't like my brother forever. I was like, you
Yeah.
get on my nerves. Like, you just gotta be the guy that got it all
Right.
together.
Look at you. Look at you.
And it's just
Mr.
like they was
Perfect.
sending me prophecy after prophecy for my brother, and he just getting everything he want. And I was like, dang, this God thing really working for you. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm just looking on the outside. And I'm like, what do you
Mm-hmm.
like? So it was like all of that kind of built up. So when I
Yeah.
came and I said yes, and I'm like, all right, sir, you got me. What's up? I done seen you work for other people. I want you to work for me.
Right.
The second that thing started going the other way, I'm like, wait, what did I do wrong? Did I get the wrong subscription? Like, did I say the wrong thing?
I want that
Because I'm
same job
like,
my brother had.
like what did he have? Because I want that. But then when I started seeing what my brother had to go through for that, I was like, oh, never mind, you good. Like,
Yeah, you good. You got this.
you
He
good.
built you
So
for it.
my tunnel vision came differently because I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, if I can see what you've done for other people, and I try to keep that mindset of I'm going to do my absolute best
Yeah.
to do what I can for you. And then if you do something for me, you do it. If not,
Mm.
I'm good. But then when I
Yeah.
started having these obstacles and I'm like falling short, and I'm like,
Mm.
see, man, like,
Mm.
what am I doing? I started thinking, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what's wrong with me? But
We don't
then
talk
you're,
enough about it. We don't talk enough about the in-between spaces. I'm gonna preach this real soon. We see the glamour. We see, like you said, like I just look at you from the outside. Oh my gosh. I remember going through separation, cheating husband, and all this type of stuff. And I wanted my marriage, right? And to the point where it consumed me. And I couldn't see past it. I went to therapy, and my therapist is like, okay, so we're not talking about your miscarriages. At this point, all we're talking about is your marriage. So we're gonna make that in the forefront, and we're gonna deal with that. And I remember during that time that I read a book, The Power of Praying Wife, then had a book club. Then I was like, oh, I need to, contact my husband and apologize to him for not respecting him and different things like that, even if he wasn't perfect in this area. So, it was all this, it was like a year of just hard laborious type of work that was unexpected. But my goal was because I wanted my marriage. Well, after I got done reading that book, and then the different things that hurt me down through that process, it brought me to my knees in prayer.
mm-hmm,
So people could look at me and say, oh my gosh, that girl can pray. There were times where I was so broken, I had to lean on my friends that could pray to go to sleep. You know, these type of things, like you said, we see the glory, but we don't have enough people telling the whole story. I'm talking about
exactly,
not the pretty story. I'm talking about the one where you're depressed, the one where you're on medication, the one where you're cheated on, the one where you're publicly embarrassed. Your process required for everyone to know your business. And you had to stand there and still exist.
yes,
We don't we don't make that we don't say it enough. We say a lot of, yeah, you just come over to this side and everything's perfect. No, it's
mm-mm,
gonna, but the Bible says if you want to reign with him, you're gonna have to suffer.
yeah,
We don't talk about the suffering.
a long
And if
suffering,
you the long suffer, and if you don't suffer right, you will continue in the same cycle. If you don't learn the lesson, you're going to continue in the same cycle.
same
But I'm
cycle.
proud to report, after all of that and all this focus on what he didn't do right and all this and all that, guess what? Kiyonna got into her place of prayer. Kiyonna, finally walked in and faced and accepted who she should have been the whole time. Because in her forefront, she just wanted the marriage, the son, the picket fence, the Cinderella story.
Girlfriend, stop preaching my ministry, okay?
And because we think that we're going to get married and everything's going to be perfect. And if you don't come complete, and how about this? Let me drop this. Making over $100,000 a year. I got my money. I got my penthouse suite. I was paying $2,500 a month 15 years ago. Living my single life, traveling with my girlfriends every 3 months. So I was saying myself that I was complete.
Yeah,
So, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm good. I would get a new luxury vehicle every 2 years. Not because anything was wrong with it, but because I could,
yeah,
because I thought I was complete. But his ways are not our ways,
exactly.
and neither are his thoughts our thoughts. And many are the plans of a man,
Mm-hmm,
but you have to follow and go through the process of whatever it is God has ordained you to.
yeah,
And the way you get through that process is doing like what you're doing. You're becoming. How am I becoming? I'm praying. I am doing all that I know how to learn of this God that I serve.
mm-hmm,
I'm surrounding myself with wise counsel, and I'm putting myself under godly leadership who I listen to.
mm-hmm.
And I trust the God in them to direct me in the things that I have no understanding of.
Yes.
because they have graduated to a place that I'm not there yet. But if I serve well, when I get to the place that God ordained to me, the same seed that I have sown will come back to me.
Yeah.
So those are the things we don't really discuss.
And I was like, that's basically what this whole podcast is about. It's about somebody like me going to people that I admire, that I watch, not in a covetous way, but I'm just like, okay,
Hmm.
what did it take for you to get there? Because I really
Yes.
want
Oh.
transparency. I want authenticity. And I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of the reasons why I stayed away from God so long, I had mentioned before, is like I didn't think I was perfect enough, but he didn't call me
Yeah.
perfect. He called me the way that I was. And
Just the
it's
way I
just
am.
like the way that he cleaned you out. He wants to clean you out with you, not you get cleaned out
Hmm.
first and then come out, because what is he going to
Hmm.
work with then? You know what I mean? And
That's a lot.
like
That's a
you
whole mouthful
actually,
right there.
exactly. And it's just like, because I was telling everybody before, I was like, I don't plan for these. I might have sent y'all like an outline or something, but I look at this as like, God, whatever you give me to say, I want it to be
Yes.
as authentic and real time as I can possibly get.
Mm.
And because I want people to see that this is really what it is, but it's worth it in the end.
Yes.
Because you brought
So
up
worth it.
a very hard time for me. Like I've gone through the depression, I've gone through the drug use, I've gone through the sexual abuse, I've gone through all of those things before.
Hmm.
So when I came into this is taking us into our second segment of public obedience but private process,
Hmm.
because you also went through a divorce.
Hmm.
And like right before I got baptized, joined the church and everything, I had met my now ex-husband.
Hmm.
And I was the same mindset. I was like, I want to get married. I want to have a baby. I want to have a
Hmm.
family. I want to create my own, like, and I knew what marriage meant. I was very,
Hmm.
like, I was very aware that once you in, you in. Like, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So when I started going to church,
Hmm.
and I started going faithfully. Like, this is when I started
Wow.
going like every week, joining in everything. When I say my marriage went haywire, okay, it, like I was like, what happened? And then at this point I had gone through multiple ectopic pregnancies and miscarriages. Like people don't even know I've been pregnant six
Same.
times. Like
Yeah.
Tootie,
Same.
Tootie is here, but there was some before her and some after her, and I just recently
Hmm.
went through another one, and I'm like, y'all don't know that process that I do behind the scenes. But right
Hmm.
now in my marriage, that thing that everybody looked at like she's
Hmm.
doing it, they didn't know I was going through hell at home, because I'm just
Hmm.
like what happened? Like we were going through like
This was
our
not a part of the plan.
like, you know what I mean? Like we were going through like our tiffs, because at this point we were married for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I started being that praying wife. Like I'm going to church, I'm on the altar, snot crying. I don't got no
Hmm.
words. I'm just crying. Like, God help me. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I took this oath in your name and your honor. I want to honor it. And then when that thing fell apart, the way
Mm.
I looked at myself and I was like, if you can't even
Girl,
keep
don't
your
get me
commitment to
started.
your husband, what makes you think you can keep your commitment? Like the way that my brain switched on me, and it took Pastor and Bishop like a while to talk me out of it, because I'm like, no, I'm a failure. Like, what is this going to look like? And I had to really look at myself in the mirror like years later. And I was like, no, sis, we did everything we were supposed to do. And it wasn't
Hmm.
until it was dropped on me where they were like, well, that wasn't his plan for you. He gave you a
Yeah.
miracle of your child out of that because that's the decision you made. But
Hmm.
ultimately, that's not where you were supposed to be. So shake it
Hmm.
off, ask for forgiveness, and move forward. And I'm like, well, why didn't y'all tell me that before? Like, why didn't
Because
y'all
we weren't in
stop
a place
me?
to listen.
And because I had to go through the process, because the things
Hmm.
that I learned in that situation, like the things that I
Yes.
picked up and seen about myself and realized that I wanted, that I didn't want, like what my
Hmm.
kingdom husband is supposed to do, like, you know, all of those things. It was just like that process that I had to do in private, but I had to suffer
Mm-mm.
in public, because now everybody's looking at me, including women in my family, like, we don't do
Right.
divorce. Like, you better suck
What
it
are you
up. You
doing?
better figure it out. Like, we don't do that. And then it's just like I'm in the church and I'm like, are people looking at me crazy because
Hmm.
they seen me get married, but now I'm getting divorced and I'm just another, like, all of those
Mm.
things, like the things we have to suffer in public, but we don't know what that private process looks like. It's like,
Yes. That
baby.
private process.
But then it's like now here I am in public butt naked showing y'all all of my insides, because if I had to go through this in private, y'all gonna know why I did it. If
Yeah.
this wasn't for anything, I want somebody to take what I got to say, and even if y'all just scroll through this thing, I want y'all to take something out and be like, well, you know what, she did say something good, and oh, I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, even with your podcast, I love the way you talk, and and it's just like you have like this way of like giving emotional uppercuts, but you do it so nicely, and it's just like because I be listening, I be like, dang,
You don't
dang,
know
like
how
she's.
many people will hit me up on my inbox and say, you know what, I listened. I had to log off and come back and listen because it's something that you said. It's like you hit me, but I felt the love in it when you hit me.
Mm-hmm,
But I had to come back and dissect that thing. And I had to come to grips with, I remember the church that I'm at now, I was told that I'm an evangelist. So I was never told under my pastor that went on to be with the Lord that I was had evangelism in me. Of course, everyone's supposed to bring, bring people to church, bring them to Christ, bring them, But I was house prophet, adjutant, just different things I did in the church. And I didn't understand evangelism because I never was taught about evangelism. Well, little did I know that, and this is why you got to go with God, that strong talks will be a source of evangelism for the unchurched. I have church people on there and I have unchurched. I have people who have said, you know what? I think I'm gonna try this church thing out because of how you talk and the things that you pour out. And I don't even have a format. I literally fleece God, and my thing is, and this is my thing, and like you found your vein, I had to kind of find my vein. I have to do in the morning, unless I have a special guest coming on. I have to do in the morning because God reveals fresh manna to me, and then I just release it. Now I've been doing this since like 2017, and I actually started off in my car, like pre-pandemic, pre-COVID, and then it just kind of graduated, and then it just kind of developed over time, and I had no framework, I had no blueprint for it, but all I knew is that I had to obey him. There were some failures in what I did in my eyes, and it's like, no, I want it like this, I want it pretty like this, and I let that get me caught up because of looking at how other people did podcasts,
yeah,
and how they did this, and then I'm spending money on studio rooms and stuff like that, that I didn't, what you don't, this is not a paid gig, until you get monetized or whatever. So I had to do it God's way, but I realized that my obedience to God, that so many people, I can't even begin to tell you how many people reach out in the inbox, and I'm okay with it because that's how I know I'm hitting something,
mm-hmm,
because you're coming to me on the inbox and we have a personal conversation, and I encourage you. I,
yep,
I drop the word of God and I direct you to God, and I give you resources. And sometimes I even give you a little bit more personal information, even than what I've given on the Strong Talk. But that is the way God used me to evangelize and to help those that are willing to listen.
yep,
So I say that, all that to say, even to you, that those who you are called to, they'll find you.
yep,
All you got to do is obey. So we can't get caught up in the numbers, because we can get very easily caught up in the numbers and this, and that. And I had to get past that because God let me know they'll find you. The word is certain people. I'm telling you, it's gonna be so much blood on people's hand that do not obey because they're looking at how other people do it. They're looking
mm-hmm,
at numbers and all that. But I had to graduate in my process to the place of, you know what, I'm dropping what God says, and that's it. God's not allowing me to be messy. God's not allowing me to do church drama. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like some podcasts, they get likes because you're talking about, like right now, we have this prophetic foolishness going on. I call it a civil war in
man,
the prophetic.
it's
That's
it's
not my
crazy. I'm just like,
insanity.
where is this stuff coming from?
Insanity. And I'm just like, you know what? God didn't call me to that.
Well,
And
because
I still believe in the church.
it stopped being an authentic process and it started becoming
Yeah.
a performance. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't got time for that.
We
Because
we don't have
once
time, sis. We
like
don't. This work that we do, the conversations that we have, we're going to be responsible for. We don't talk enough about that.
the
Whatever
blood
I
that's on your
release,
hands,
the blood that's on your hands is so real. I can't imagine getting to the place and it's me and God, and he says, remember you said this? Well, a million people heard you say that and they didn't serve me because
yeah.
of what you said.
And
This
and I,
is this is real work.
And like you said, like we have come to a day and age where like ministering, evangelism, you don't gotta go to church. Like you can pick up your phone and do it. I see
Hmm.
people, and I'm starting to see like an influx of this as well. People standing on the corners with speakers and microphones.
Yeah.
Like there is so like there is like obviously people have seen that there has been a spiritual shift. I don't know if they want to admit it
Yeah.
or not, but I'm like back in the day it used to be very secretive, very low hush hush, but now it's like I
Hmm.
turn on the TV and I see it. Like I listen to stuff on the radio, I see it. I get
Yeah.
on TikTok and I'm scrolling until 3 a.m. and I'm fighting between Christian TikTok and the other stuff. Like you know what I mean? So it's just like there is like an influx, and I am so adamant, and I love the fact that the people that I connect myself with, like you and my leaders, they're all adamant like we can say something, but y'all need to go back and look at it for yourself.
For yourself, you
You
better know that
need
word.
to like you need to dissect it, like you said, like somebody might
Hmm.
log off, but they'll go and they'll dissect what you say, go back,
Hmm.
process it out, and then come to you and either ask those questions or say, hey, I liked how you said this, or hey, I didn't like that. Like that's what you
Hmm.
need to do. Like in the
Yeah.
world of everybody is questioning everything, you need to
Mm.
question everything and everybody,
Yeah.
not in a disrespectful way, but you need to be sure, because
Hmm.
I heard Bishop say that. Like he cut the cameras off one service and he was just talking to us. And
Yeah.
you know how hood Bishop can get sometimes. And I was low key looking at him like, oh, I ain't never seen. And
Like, well, we're
he's just
going there
like,
today, huh?
and he was like, y'all don't understand the blood that will be on our
Mm.
hands. And he was like, I'm here doing a work on behalf of God.
Hmm.
And he was like, I'm responsible for what I teach y'all. And
Yes.
he was like, I have to be in tune. I have to do my work. Like I
Mm.
have to meditate on that word. Like I have to make sure I'm giving it exactly how. And he was so serious. And the day I seen
Hmm.
Bishop with that sweat on his temple talking to us like
Listen,
that, I was like, no.
this
I
is
was
real.
like, this is real. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I came with this project, like you said, there was other projects before this. Like I had started like a YouTube channel, like
Yeah.
pandemic era.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I fell into depression real bad, so I stopped doing that. And then
Hmm.
something told me to write a book, and my book was Living, Overcoming, Becoming, and I was telling my whole story.
Hmm.
I got like 3 pages deep in that joint, and my shame ripped me from them page. I was like, I ain't putting this in print. Like,
Nobody
I
to know
was
all
like,
this.
I don't need nobody. I don't want my mama questioning me and getting in. I was like, no. And then it took Pastor Nakia to look at me, and she was like, I saw you writing something and you need to continue doing that. So when I came
Hmm.
home and I prayed, I was like, God, I don't want to do that way.
Yeah.
I was like, I tried doing this twice now. And obviously, there is some way that you want me to do this. Now, what is it? And then I was doing the same thing you said. Like, I was looking, I was seeing everybody doing podcasts. I seen all the setup and stuff. I was like, well, that's too much. And I was like, and I don't got no money because, I'm back at my parents' house with my baby. Like, I was like, I don't got no money right now. But then it was that thought. It was like, I don't need to be perfect. I just need to get
Hmm.
what I need to get out. Because I had started doing my little faith walk series on TikTok. And I was like, nah, I was like, I actually want to do like episodes. So this is
Hmm.
how this came to be. And it was from failures before, but all those failures led me to this. And it seems like this is sticking. So it
Well,
was,
I didn't come on here to prophesy, but the word that was given to you, you are going to write the book. Um, your your challenge is what will it look like? How will I lay it out? But you've already laid it out in your podcast. You already have your
yeah,
chapter. You already have your pages. So all you really have to do is to go back to what you've already spoken and just you can voice record it if you want.
that's what I knew it. I was like, I knew I wasn't going to get off the hook. I think he was just giving me like a tunnel to go in for a
Yeah.
little bit. But it's just
And
like,
but that's the key to, and it's the good thing about leaders and godly leaders. And it's such a blessing that you have leaders that you can trust because
yeah,
everybody doesn't have that testimony.
no, they don't.
And everybody doesn't have leaders that want to pull whatever gift put God placed in you out of you. And that is such a, I mean, I don't even feel like my words are even extenuating a magnification of how important it is to have that. It is so many people that desire that to have somebody help them along the way to where they should go in God. It's so many people that are like, I don't know what my gift is. I don't know what my calling is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, and oftentimes we will say, well, God ain't tell me that. And because we have lost, because of people doing crazy stuff on YouTube,
Yep.
crazy, crazy that's going on, our trust factor is at an all-time low.
Yes.
But I've been, this has kind of been the realm that I'm in now. God, I trust you enough. I'm connected with you enough to trust the voices that you have placed in my life. Because I know that just like I have a God to answer to, they do too. We get in trouble for how we manage the shepherds, and the shepherds get in trouble with how they manage the sheep. And I have to trust that process.
Yes.
And that was a graduated state because I ain't trust nobody, leaders or nothing. I just it was too much going
Girl,
on.
I'm the queen of trust issues.
Listen,
The queen of
I'm
trust
like,
issues.
but when you graduate to the place, sis, oh my gosh, with God, I trust you so much and I depend on you so much that I know that you'll direct my path.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I have to serve in places with leaders who are not integral or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
I know you have me there for a purpose. God, let me, maybe it's for me to learn what not to do.
Right.
Maybe it's to teach me how to play, cover the gaps of people who are real like we are.
There's always a
We're
means
quick,
for
we're in
what
this
you're in.
exposure type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in this exposure society. We want to expose people. But my passion is intercession. Well, maybe God called me to cover that gap
Right.
because I remember where he brought me from.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the stuff he didn't reveal.
Right.
But we want our leaders and everybody else to be perfect, right? So it gives me an empathy and a sensitivity to, I
Yes.
already know some footage should have been released. I already
Mm-hmm.
know that I should have been in the clinic waiting for the doctor to say positive or negative. I already know that I should have had 6 kids by a husband I no longer am with
Yeah.
and sitting here really struggling
Yeah.
with my one child. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And when we get that sensitivity, and that's when we become more connected and we become the God, more like God.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I remember this like it was yesterday, and Passion Nakia was talking about that. She was like, when people get saved, sometimes they forget where they were, what they battled, what they went through. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden you get like that holier than thou complex. But she was like, when you're amongst the sheep, sometimes you need to smell like the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, who am I to sit here and say I wasn't where you were?
Mm.
Like, and who am I to sit here and say I still don't have problems? Like, I still
Mm-hmm.
don't have like those issues. And like you said, I thank God every day for my church because I'm just like, I don't know how I ended up with these people in my life, but thank you. Like, and
Thank you,
and like I
God.
said, when I said yes, the way that my life crashed down on me to push me back home, to push me back into this
Mm.
church, I was like, sir, if I had to lose it all just to come back to get that, I'm cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
God,
I
I
had to
thank
say
you.
it like that because I was like, I could be out here with some of these crazy people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know what I
Listen.
mean? I could be out here with some people that I be looking at online like, did he really just say that? And I'm not all the way there yet, but it's like something in my spirit is like, that don't sound right. Like, and people eat it up. And I'm just like, I don't mean to sound churchy, but y'all might want to research that because that don't even
Mm-hmm.
sound right. Like, you know what
Mm.
I mean? That sounds way too good to be true. And it was like they also do like this I feel like a lot of the churches and like online preachers, they do this thing where they just feed you the good. Like they
Yeah.
give you
Yeah.
like that, oh, life is going to turn itself around and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, no, where's the realness at? Like you do still have to strive for holiness. Like you do still have to obey the
Mm-hmm.
commandments. Like this actually
Mm-hmm.
did happen in the Bible. It wasn't a good
Mm-hmm.
ending. Like just like, you know what I mean? And I'm
It
like,
wasn't
where's
just a
the
little
in between?
story.
Like, where's the in between? And then because we got so accustomed to that, that's what we started doing in church. And
Yeah. And
that
we
was where I
started to
really,
to copy and mimic that. And
yeah.
as a
And I'm
result, we
just,
have a whole bunch of fakers. We have uh, I,
performers.
performers, literally. And they still are just not delivered, not
Yeah.
knowing that, truly the word of God saying that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb
Hmm.
and the word of our testimony. And a lot of people have done away with testimony service.
I don't see it that much
You don't
anymore.
really see it. But you know what? I take times like this, even
Hmm.
in the podcast, to testify.
Yeah.
Because if I can help you not to go through what I went through, I'm going to help you. I wish somebody would have helped me. Or how about this? I wish I would have listened to some stuff. Because some stuff people told us, but we just Simply didn't listen because we
didn't
thought
take
we were
it.
going to be. Thank you, sweetie, for your information, but that's
Like
not going
that
to
was
happen to
you. That's
me.
not gonna
Yeah,
be me.
that's not going to be me. And you sitting there like, that was me. Wow. It ended up being
Or it
me.
didn't happen the same way, but it happened very close to it. I'm not gonna tell you
Very
that
close.
though.
Girl.
It
Mm-mm.
is very much a process. And whether we go through it in public or in private or both, it's very valid and it's very necessary. And I now I
Hmm.
appreciate it. I still
Yeah.
might have like my temper tantrums and I still might lay on the bed kicking and screaming into my pillow
Right.
like this ain't what I signed up for, but all right.
Hmm.
Like you know that I might have my moments, but even doing this and like
Hmm.
talking to you guys, it's like it's so worth it because
Yeah.
now I not only have like the hope, but it's just like if like because I've always been like the empathetic person, the person that people just socially dump on me. Oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
just look like somebody I could talk to, and I'm like, I don't know who told you that. Like, who told you that? But I'm gonna listen because I'm polite. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like I've always been like an emotional sponge, so it's just
Yeah.
all of those things that I tried to do before is now coming into fruition of this project. And it's just like if
Hmm.
I could just if one person just hears anything and it just like
I've done
even
my job.
swayed you just a little bit, I'm fine. Like
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And it's just like I appreciate not only like the guidance that I'm getting
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
real time again. It's just like even seeing you like dialogue and like you're really getting into it. I'm like, I hope this even helps you guys. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to just be like on my receiving end. I
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
able to give something to you because this is supposed to be empowering on both sides.
Hmm.
Because we're all at different levels in Christ,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's like we're all still becoming. Like there is
Hmm.
strength in that still becoming factor.
Oh.
Like there's no ceiling to this, honestly. Like
Hmm.
I feel like as much as people think like, oh, my goal is to be a pastor, oh, my goal is to be a traveling evangelist, or oh, my goal is to... I'm just like, once you get there, you still gotta grow.
Right.
You still
You
have to
gotta
go
grow.
past this. And there's still gonna be things in between this and then, and even
Yeah.
past that, where it's like we gotta come back and remind people that we're still human. Like
Yes.
you know what
We're
I
still
mean?
human.
And like you
It's
had mentioned
real.
before, like when we see all of these big mega church pastors falling and people getting caught up in scandals, it's just like if y'all was putting the same amount of faith in God that you was putting in a man, your faith would be different.
It would be so different.
And you're forgetting that you're going and you're watching a man minister. Yes, we are called to Christ. Yes, a lot of these
Yes.
pastors and mega church leaders and
Mm.
everything, they may have a calling, but they're still
Hmm.
human.
They're
Now
still
you need to
human.
ask yourself, did they surrender? Like, are they doing it for the work of God, or are they doing it for the
Hmm.
work of themselves? Like, and you should never let that deter your faith in God. Like,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because even in the Bible, there's some sketchy characters. I mean, let's not forget God had to kiss his op on the forehead. Like, you know what I mean? There are people that are going to be deceitful. There are people that are going to do things to you, but it's still for your good
Hmm.
because without Judas, we wouldn't have eternal life. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
without that,
my recommendation is for anyone who is trying to learn of God is to get in a Bible believing church and get under leadership that, pray about it, that God leads you to, or you feel like your heart is being drawn to, and listen and learn.
yeah.
My recommendation is not to even have itching ears and listen to all of the stuff that's going on out here. It's so easy for anybody to start a podcast, preach a word, or whatever, but it does not necessarily mean that that is the word of God. And
Right.
when you are learning, you don't need all of that. You're going to get confused. And
Mm,
that's what we have going on now. We have a lot of confusion. Our generation likes to go to the popular preacher, but we ignore the fact, and their prophetic word, but we ignore the fact that our own leaders have already told us that. And how about this? We see the life that our leaders live. We don't know what these other people are doing. We don't know. All we see is that it looks glamorous. That's all we know. And it might look pretty on the outside, but when we bite into that fruit, that fruit ain't right.
It's
That fruit is totally
not
spoiled on the
right.
inside. But we'll send our money in. We'll follow
Mm-hmm.
them. We'll get up every month. We'll be faithful to their part, and we'll sow when they tell us to sow. But we won't even support those that really know us, those
Yep.
that show up, those that labor, those that, listen to us. Like you said, sometimes we're going through depression and things like that. Your leaders show up for you. They pray with you, pull it out. I always
Mm-hmm.
love, I love ladies. I love your past. And I always say with the white sheets, it's a murder scene. They
The
go through
murder
you with the
scene.
murder scene.
We
The
got a white
killing
sheet
of the flesh.
ministry at Strong Tower, okay, guys? If you know, you know, but just be ready for the white sheets when you come to us, because you're going to address something
I'm
when you
telling
come
you,
through them doors.
I call it affectionately the murder scene
Yeah.
because it is killing of that flesh.
Yeah.
It is killing of your will. It is killing of everything that is sent to hold you back so that you can truly be who God has called you to be.
That white sheet ministry is crazy. And it's crazy in such a good way, though,
Yeah.
because
It's
it's like it's a way of, like you said, like you go to people that you trust.
yeah.
But then if you also go to people that believe in your growth, and for the record, before I started this project, y'all, I went to my leaders, because when I be thinking God talked to me in my head, sometimes I question it and I be nervous, and I'm just like, let me just make sure. And I was told that this project was okayed
Yeah.
by God. So like, I was not about to get on here and do nothing that I thought I was going to get in trouble for later. But just having, like you said, those people in my life that pull on me and that like can verify or even tell me I'm doing something wrong. Like, they're not like, and I feel like that's like another thing that
It's a blessing.
you have to be open to is, as much as you keep saying you okay, the right leaders will look at you and be like, stop lying.
You are not okay. You
Like,
not
okay,
okay.
that's cute. That's a cute response, but how do you really feel? Like, why don't you meet
Right.
me in my office? We can talk in private so you can tell me how you really doing.
Look, you like this, like, oh my God.
And then and then Pastor Kia, she does this thing where she just looks at you and you're like, please don't come over here, please don't come over here, please don't come over here. And then next thing you know, she
Like
over
looking through
there
your
and she
soul.
just, and it's just like, you have to be willing to address things. You have to be willing to lay those
Yeah.
things down. You have to be willing to want to move forward and then let go of your
Yes.
expectations,
That's good.
because I really had to put my expectations aside. And
Wow.
you had hit it earlier, because you
Hmm.
was like, you can't ask for something and then have an expectation, because then if I get disappointed, then what am I going to look like? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to start questioning and acting crazy, because when
Mm,
like I said, for the unbelievers and the rocky believers, all you have to do is sit there and ask God to show himself in a way that you would know that it's him.
that's
Now,
right.
the crazy thing is, people won't do that because they're afraid they're going to get their answer, and then they can't stay. They
Yep.
can't
It's
stay
like
on
I
the
can't stay
outside.
like this.
And you're just like, once you get that confirmation, it's like, but I'm telling y'all, like, it's worth it, because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, when you get your conversation, you might be a little scared, you might be a little rocky, but at the end of the day,
Hmm.
like you said, it's the winning side, dog. Like, I don't know
Women's
about
side.
y'all. I don't know about y'all. But I'm like, I done been on the outside, and it's fun
Right.
for a little bit. But the way that I came crashing down and what it did to my body and stuff, I'm not trying to do that for all eternity. Like, you know
Mm.
what I'm saying? I'm just not.
So true.
And I'm
So
just like, if
listen,
this
been
man
there.
kept me through all of that, if God, Yahweh, kept me through the stuff
Mm.
that I've been through, and the only thing I got to do is serve him and minister to y'all about how he got me out.
Went inside.
Listen, and I even had Galatians 6:8
Mhm.
up. For he who sows in
Yeah.
his flesh with will of the flesh reap corruption,
Corruption.
but he who sows to the spirit will of the spirit reap everlasting life. And let
Yeah.
us not grow weary while doing good work, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially those who are of the household of faith. And
Yeah.
I, like, when I read that, I was like, all right, so basically, whatever I'm in is what I will reap. And it's
Yeah.
just like, if I'm in this corruption, if I'm in this uncertainty, this doubt, this
Hmm.
like this outside place that is dark, of course I'm a fall into darkness. But if I sit here and I attach myself to people that are trustworthy, If I attach myself to people that are striving for God, if I attach myself to people that are doing the good work, that are,
Mm.
like, you know what I mean? If I have to surround myself with the same mindset that I'm trying to achieve, that's what I got to do. Because what they say, if you stand in a circle, if you stand in a room full of 5 millionaires, you'll be the sixth. But if you stand in a circle of 5 bums, you want to be the sixth. Like, so it's just like, if I got to put my stuff in a group full of kingdom workers,
That's a word.
like, if I
That
got to
is a
put
word.
myself in a room of kingdom workers, I will figure it out, because all I have to do is look and
Mm.
see what is supposed to be done. And then I have
Mm-hmm.
to also be understanding that they're still human.
Yes.
Where instead
That's
of
it.
judging if something happens, I need to pray. Like, I need to
Mm-hmm.
intercede. Like, that was
Mm-hmm.
another thing that they told me, you're an intercessor. And I was like, what the heck is that?
I don't know what
Like, you're
that
supposed
is.
like you're supposed to stand in the gap. You're supposed to pray for people. And I was like, oh, is that why people be telling me their whole life story and blah blah blah? And they're like, yeah, probably. And I'm just like, that makes sense. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't know, Key. Cause I
Mm.
like, in your space where you are,
Mm.
like, how did you let go of that expectation and like that timeliness, or like that thought of like you should be in a better place at some time?
I had to graduate to that space. I did not start off in that space. I started off in the space of wanting to hide. I started off in the space of wanting to look perfect
Mm,
in people's eyes, because that's how it always was. And that's not really what I wanted to do, but that's what I ended up doing because it was an expectation of me, kind of. So I kind of like fell into it, you know? So I didn't start off like that, but I did graduate to it through life and circumstance, through failures. Failures got me to the place where it's like, you know what? Maybe if this doesn't go exactly like I wanted it to go, I can still survive. Because guess what? The world didn't catch on fire and it didn't end. When I started having little moments like that, that's what I said, oh my gosh. Because I would like literally freak out if it didn't
mm-hmm.
go this way, blah, 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 blah. It was done, it's ruined. But it wasn't the end of the world when it happened. And like on your job, right? I'll say for myself, I felt like I always had to do this and I always had to do that. Until I got burnt out. And then I got frustrated and then I left. And guess what? The job didn't fall apart because I
Yeah,
left. Guess what they did? They just hired someone
they
else.
replaced you.
Straight replaced.
Probably
So
ain't take
life
no
and
time.
circumstances, no time. Thank you so much for your service. Want to know before you leave if you could just help us interview your replacement? What?
Oh, that's wild.
Like insanity. So I had to graduate to that space, and I had somebody, a prophet, that came to me. I shared this on my strong talk and told me, I mean, you're a prophet and everything, but you need to get delivered from people. And I sat there like, I don't know
The
who you think you're talking
audacity.
to.
What
Yeah,
you
and I don't
do?
even like you for real. This is how, this is how my little pumped up pious self was acting. It wasn't until years later I said, oh my gosh, I'm worried about the opinion of people. And if I'm to say and do what God has called me to do, I got to get delivered from the opinion of people. And I just got to simply just do what God says, and that's it. Because if I worry about people's face when I tell them what God said, and people look at you all crazy like, that's cute. God didn't tell you that. That's fine. But I know God told me that. So we'll just wait and see, and not even have a pumped up pious type of reaction. It's just simply that I've been delivered from your face.
Yeah,
I've been delivered from your backbiting. I've been delivered from those who are around you who don't want to respect the fact that you have now made a commitment to God, and you're not going to be used in the way that you were used before. You're not going to be available in the way that you were available before, because God is opening your eyes and helping us to realize, yeah, I don't got to show up like that no more. I've graduated from that. God showed me my worth. So, those type of things help me to get to the place where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep walking, and I'm just going to trust the process of whatever that looks like. But what I won't do, and I think about my grandmother, raised by strong Black women, what I won't do is I won't give up.
yeah.
I may be crawling, like the woman with the issue of blood. I know sis wanted to give
And
up.
she's like my favorite story in the Bible.
I know went to every doctor.
She's
And you
like
think of the
my
laws of the land
favorite.
at that time, you bleeding and stuff, you can put outside the city.
Listen.
So you
And
got
she
people
was
looking at you,
like,
ain't that one that's been bleeding for 15
yeah.
years? You know what I mean? You know,
Cause I'm
is
like, if
that
there was
lady?
ever a person in the Bible where I need to aspire for their level of trust, she was like, I don't even gotta touch you. I just gotta touch the little dangly things on the bottom of your clothes.
That's it. She's her concept of faith, because she couldn't depend on it. Because sometimes there are stages in your life where you can't depend on those around you.
Mm-hmm.
David encouraged himself in the Lord. All she knew was, I done tried everything else. And hey, y'all kick me to the side. Y'all don't pay me no mind. Y'all don't feel like I'm worth. Y'all don't even want to touch me because I'm bleeding.
Yeah. And she had
But
been
all
living
I
for
know
this for
is,
years. Like this was
yep.
somebody that was being told by medical professionals, the people around her in her environment, like everybody every day for years was
Mm-hmm.
telling her she's unclean. She's not going to be like, she can't be fixed. Like, this is something you're
Mm-hmm.
going to die with. But
Yeah.
then this one man come into town that she done heard about, and she was like, nah, I need him.
I
And
don't
then
know who
not
he
only
is,
did
but I
that,
know.
done Bobby Boucher her way through the crowd and literally just touched the hem of his garment. Like that kind of crazy faith. I'm like, sis, I need that.
And it
I'm
stopped him
like,
in his tracks. That's the part I like. It stopped Jesus in his tracks.
cleared out
He
the
said,
whole crowd.
uh-uh.
Who touched me? Like, who
Who
was
touched
that?
all these people? I'm sure they was like, Master, it's a million people here.
Like, how
It
you
could have
gonna
been
ask us who
anyone.
touched you?
Uh-uh.
Everybody touched you.
This person that touched me, this person touched me.
And then that is another part of the word that I don't think people look at. Like,
Mm,
this is Jesus pushing through a crowd. Everybody trying to get to this man. Everybody
mm-hmm,
done touched him, pulled on him, like rubbed up against him. But it was that one worthy person out of
mm-hmm,
a sea of people who not only took the virtue but made him stop in his tracks. And this was a woman that was being ministered to
mm,
people that were talking down on her for years.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, that's why I'm like, I love that story. Like, I will read that story a million times and get a million different things from it every single time.
Look, and this is the thing that's coming up before me right now. It doesn't matter who thinks you're unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even matter if you feel like you're unworthy.
Mm-hmm.
But God deemed that she was worthy.
Reach for that cloak. Reach for that cloak, sis.
Everyone around thought she was unworthy. And they thought oh, I'll be the miracle of the day.
Yeah,
I'm sure they probably
listen.
thought that it's going to be me. I'm dressed up. I'm a theologian. I'm this, I'm that. I come from a good family. I come from the perfect
No,
background. No, it was the broken person that's been bleeding and weak, who's anemic.
listen.
The one that could barely even make it, but somehow, some way, that is the person that God chose for that miracle.
Yeah,
Because she, like
and
you said, just reached for
that's and I feel like that's how I want to wrap this up today.
it.
Like, because I feel like I don't even know how we got to that story, and you brought it up, and I feel like this is a very good time to call on all of the people that are listening.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how unworthy you feel, what people done told you, what you think about yourself. Reach for the cloak.
Hmm.
Just
Hmm.
reach. Like, just reach. Like,
Mm.
it at this point, it's not only for yourself,
Yeah.
but you don't know what you're carrying, where just reaching will
Mm.
release something that will help somebody. Because like I
Mm.
said, I was that woman. I felt unworthy. I felt unfixable. I felt like I wasn't worth anything. And then the day
Wow.
that I reached, look at me, what I'm doing now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't know what reaching opens up for you,
Mm.
or how it could heal somebody.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And you done
Wow.
heard Kiyonna this whole time. She's been reaching. Like, this is a
Mm.
daily walk for her. Like, she just said it. She had to get to this place. And there are still
Mm.
some levels that she has to get to, but she keeps
Hmm.
reaching.
Just keep reaching.
This is a daily walk. This is not like an overnight magic wand. He's not a genie. It doesn't fall away. This is a process. Like, this is something that you have to walk every single day. And at the end of the day, you do this any other time. You just do it depending on yourself, depending on other people. But now you're putting your foundation and your footing on something that not only knew you before you were formed in the womb, but knows your capabilities, knows what he placed in you, and you don't know where you could go. I think the scariest part is you just don't know who you're going to be when you say yes. Because I'm still scared. I'm just like,
that part.
There's still
Me
things
too.
that I'm afraid to
too,
surrender
sis.
low key, and I'm holding on to it because, like I had been saying before in the series, like I'm just like there was a person that I had built up in survival that when it started getting broken down into pieces, I still hold on to stuff because I'm like, I know how to survive with this. Like, I know how to manipulate this. I know how to maneuver with this. Like, I know what kind of places I can get to with this. But it's just like fully surrendering. I still get caught up low key because I'm just like, oh my gosh, who am I going to be by the time you get done with me? Like, I'm afraid of that person because I don't know her. Like, you
You
know what
just
I mean?
reminded me of a book. Oh my goodness. Let me
No, but
drop a
it's
book
like,
right here.
but I trust him, like you said, I trust him enough to not only try to surrender all of these things or give up all of these things or keep telling myself that I'm worthy, but it's like when I keep talking to people like you and like my leaders, it's like you place these people around me for a reason. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
even though I have those rocky moments, it's like y'all can say something or you come in and sing a song, and I'm just like, no, I'll be all right. I'll figure it out. Like I
I
was
thought
just
it was
whining
bad,
for
but
a
I'll
little
be
bit.
okay.
Like there's certain people that come into our ministry and they have certain gifts where it's like the second that they do something, y'all might just think it's a regular service, but I'm back there in the booth like snot crying or shouting or doing something, and I'm just like, I get to do my little private praise most of the time, but then it brings me out the booth like it did a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh my god. But
Oh, I would love to see that.
I what do you have anything to say to our listeners as we wrap up?
I'll leave this here. And this has been my thing for this season is whatever you do, don't give up. No matter what you face, no matter what you go through, just keep pressing. Trust the process. And like you said, just go all in. You've tried everything else. To be honest, it just simply just hasn't worked. We tried our own way. You can't pay your way into this. You don't have enough money to buy this. But all you got to do is just submit to God and trust the process, and you will be exactly who He ordained for you to be. Just place and station your heart, and this is a prayer that I pray. God, I don't care how much I kick and scream. I don't care how much I cry. I can be a crybaby. I can be sometimes overly sensitive and a little dramatic. Do not, never mind my tears. My desire is that your will be done in my life. If you have to drag me to where, if you got to drag me out of a relationship, if you got to drag me, because we can think we're doing the right thing in our own mind. But God, drag me to the place that you will have for me to go, because it is my desire to be yours. Drag me.
As y'all can see, she's probably going to be on this podcast a lot, y'all. I'm just saying. We have 5 seasons. I'm going to fit her in a couple more times. But,
Be honest.
and please, everybody, please tune in to her Strong Talks with Kiyonna on YouTube. She also does her lives on her Instagram. I will be placing both of those links in this bio and description.
Thanks.
And here are your reflection prompts. You know, we do this every week, y'all. Y'all don't have to send me y'all answers, but if y'all want to, y'all can. Question 1. What's one area of my life where I've been rushing the process? Number 2, how would I treat myself differently if I believed God isn't disappointed in me? And your third question is, where am I still becoming, and how can I honor that instead of hiding it? Again,
love
y'all
every bit
don't
of all
have to
of this.
send me your questions and answers, but I want to know, because I'll show y'all mine if y'all show me yours. Okay. And when we close out, we always have our affirmation and our declaration. So today I'm going to have you say, I am still becoming. I am
still
not
becoming.
behind.
I am not behind.
I am not disqualified.
I am not disqualified.
I am on time for the version of me that God is building.
I am on time for the version of me that God is building.
Amen.
Amen.
I love
It is
y'all.
so.
And I love you, sis.
Love
I will
you.
be seeing you very soon. And y'all can see me again next Sunday. Love y'all. Bye-bye.